This video is about insect-plant interdependence, coevolution, process of reciprocal evolutionary changes that occur between pairs of species or among groups of species as they interact with one another. Huge number of species of flowering plants on our planet is thought to be the result of adaptive radiation driven by the coevolution between plants and their beneficial animal pollinators. Fossil record shows that pollination originated 250 million years ago. Some plants have evolved with their pollinators and produce olfactory messages which make them unique for their specific pollinators. Furthermore, insect herbivores can drive real-time ecological and evolutionary change in plant populations. Some insect taxa feed on plants with the compounds and reduce plant fitness. Mutation recombination introduce more compounds. Insect feeding is reduced and toxicity in plants is selected. The plant taxon goes through adaptive radiation. Insects evolve tolerance or attraction to the novel compound and tend to specialize on plant with that taxon. The insect taxon goes through adaptive radiation. The cycle is repeated, resulting more phytochemicals and more feeding specialization. Mutualism, plant pollinator system, pollination, flowering plant, angiosperm and animals have co-evolved or at least affect each other to some degree to use each other to accomplish feeding and reproductive needs. The plant feeds the pollinator and the pollinator accomplishes the pollen transfer of the plant. Co-adaptations to maintain insect pollination systems, synchrony in time and space. Plants provide attractive cues, flower color, fragrance, and shape. Plants provide direct rewards, pollen, nectar, fun, deceit. Insect pollinators have morphological capacity to transport pollen and to get rewards. Parts of a flower, here we can see some degree of pollinator constancy, flower fidelity, visit the plant regularly. Attracting pollinators, visual cues. The bull-eye color pattern stand out against a background of green foliage. The reversed bull-eye, cumin and butterfly, honeybee, orange, white, nectar guide. Attracting pollinators, olfactory cues. Butterfly and bird more visual in behavior and not very olfactory. Bees, sweet or spicy. Moths and bats are very olfactory and not too visual in orientation. Moth very heady sweet fragrances. Bats strong fruity or musky scents. Attracting pollinators, shape. Beetle easy open entrance, structural foods. Hovering pollinators generally hang down and have a long nectar tube. Non-hovering insects and birds need perches or landing platforms as part of the flower, mimicry of female. Rewarding pollinators, nectar, primarily sugar solution, variable amounts of amino acids and lipids. Pollen, the most direct reward, rich in protein and fat. Host and non-host order recognition. The way in which insects use plant volatiles to recognize their host plants usually involve blends of commonly occurring volatiles in specific combinations or ratios. Blend combinations play a crucial role as evidenced by a study with host orders of the black bean aphid Apis fabae, in which orders presented individually in an olfactometer were repellent, but when put together as a blend becomes attractive. Combination of olfactory and visual cues can further enhance attraction. How insect response changes over time. Insects have a nerve system and the capacity to learn, which has consequences for their responses to plant volatiles. Learning behavior, such as when an order is associated with a reward, can affect the strength or even the type of response to plant stimuli. Example, hawk moths are innately attracted to blends of particular night blooming flowers, but when there are not enough of these hawk moth adapted flowers in the habitat, moths learn to associate the odors of bad cross-pollinated agave palmary flowers which have a complete different smell. Processing of stimuli through two olfactory channels, one involving an innate bias and the other a learned association, allows the moths to exist within a changing environment. Then self-incompatibility. Coevolution of insect and plant may even require if the plant avoids self-fertilization. To avoid close inbreeding or to protect the genetic variation produced by sexual reproduction, evolution of self-compatible alleles are extremely important means to prevent self-fertilization. Flowering plants to prevent inbreeding and to encourage outbreeding, facilitate coevolution with insects. The range of flower types and their animal pollinators in Folex plants. Hummingbirds, bats, bombilid flies, cytid flies, beetles, noctirid moths, butterflies, hawk moths, etc. Spectrum of coevolution. Coevolution, reciprocal adaptive changes. Pairwise coevolution, co-adaptation of two species. The adaptive response between two species lead to evolutionary changes in each other, also called specific coevolution. Fig wasps, yucca moths. Diffuse coevolution, co-adaptation of two groups of species. This sort of diffuse coevolution by guilds of interacting species has produced a range of so-called pollination syndrome, or collection of traits characterizing plants sharing similar pollinators. Then cantherophily, beetle pollination. Myophily, fly pollination. Phalaenophily, moth pollination. Phycophily, butterfly pollination. Melteophily, bee pollination. Cantherophily, beetle pollination. Myophily, fly pollination. Phalaenophily, moth pollination. Phycophily, butterfly pollination. Melteophily, bee pollination. Melitophily. Cantherophily, beetle pollination. Beetles are pollen chewers, not very specialized for pollination. Flowers are not very specialized for pollinators. Large open dish and bowl type, no nectar guide, easy accessible. Pollination syndrome. Myophily, fly pollination. Flowers produce fly attracting odors, dung or decaying carrion, and frequently trap fly inside flowers. Usually dark red, purplish green, sexual organs, no nectar. This is pollination syndrome, myophily, with the help of flies. Myophily. Pollination syndrome. Phalaenophily. Mostly white with long nectar corolla tuber spurs, heavy sweet odor, bloom at night, blossom rim with deep dissection or fringed, blossom horizontal or tilting downward. Both long thin proboscis tend to hover below the flower and point its proboscis upward to insert it in the long nectar spurs. Phycophily. This is with the help of butterflies. Red or yellow color patterns. The large landing platform, wide flower, blossom at daytime, weak order, blossom erect and blossom rim without dissection. Long thin proboscis but tend to alight on flowers. Pollination syndrome. Melitophily. Melitophily means with the help of honeybees. Strong landing platform, vivid color present, UV reflectance pattern, subtle order. Pollen chewers, morphologically well adapted for pollen transfer, some with advanced learning capacity. Obligate pollination. Obligate pollination, neither party can survive without the other. Pairwise coevolution. Two of the most famous are fig wasp, yucca moths. Tegeticula. tightly co-evolved mutualism. Larvae are seed or flower eater. Obligate pollination. Figs, fig wasps. 1-to-1 rule. One fig tree species is usually pollinated by one fig wasp species that is only associated with that fig species. Such 1-to-1 rule may not always hold. 750 species of ficus in the world, but only 300 fig wasp pollinator species currently known. Figs. Flowers hidden inside fig. 3 developmental phases: female, interfloral, and male. No synchrony between trees. Olfactory cue. Fig wasps. Flattened and elongated head and thorax. Backward pointing teeth on female mandibular appendages. Obligate pollination. Eucas. Yucca moth. Moth larvae can feed on about 20 to 300 seeds per flower. If too many have larvae hatched, the flower will be aborted. Thus, the larvae will die. Female collect pollen from one flower, fly to another flower, inspect the flower for the scents of previous female visitors, actively stuff pollen into stigma, typically inject 3 to 5 eggs into one flower's ovary, leave her own scent as a warning to future visitors. The challenges of host recognition. Herbivorous insects need to discriminate between host and non-host and to select good quality hosts. Hosts already attacked by other insects may have defenses induced and be lower quality. Antagonistic interactions, but one benefits, another harmed. Antagonistic insectivory. Over 600 types of carnivorous plants grouped under Venus flytrap. Pitcher plant, sundew, butterwort live in swampy nitrogen poor wetlands which does not provide enough of the nutrients that plants need. Then passively attract, trap and digest, eat unsuspecting victim with plant juices. Insectivore, Venus flytrap. The two-lobed trap. 3 trigger hairs on the inner face of each lobe, fringed with teeth-like projections. When one trigger hair is touched twice or when 2 are touched in succession, the trap closes. The teeth-like projections interlock, trapping the suspecting victim inside. Unsuspecting victim inside. The struggling victim stimulates the secretion of digestive juices. The trap reopens in about 10 days. Antagonistic insectivore interactions. Insectivore, Venus flytrap. Sundew. More than 100 species of sundews. Drosera. Leaves are covered with tiny, usually red hairs which exude a clear sticky fluid, dewdrops. The sticky droplets attract and trap insects. Sundew, okay. The struggling insects stimulate the hairs to bend inward towards the center of the leaf to trap it in a neat, tight package. Insectivore. Butterwort. Leaves with very sticky surface, greasy to the touch but deadly to any small insect that may land on, try to cross one of the leaves. Plant defense. Plants have had to defend themselves against insect attack. Being rooted to the ground, they are unable to flee from attacking herbivores. They have evolved a wide range of sophisticated defense systems to protect their tissues. These include toxic or anti-feed and secondary metabolites that represent a major barrier to herbivory and physical defense, such as lignin. These provide direct defense via toxic, anti-nutritive, or repellent effects on herbivores. Plant defenses are orchestrated both in time and space by highly complex regulatory networks that themselves are further modulated by interactions with other signaling pathways. Defenses can be constituted or induced. Constitutive defense that are always present regardless of the presence of herbivory, cuticle, wax, spines, etc. Induced defenses that are only produced when there is feeding by an herbivore. like HR, hypersensitive reaction, secondary metabolite. Primed plants respond more quickly and strongly when they are attacked again. Metabolites and energy can thus be effectively allocated to defensive activities when there is a mechanism for recognizing the herbivore challenge and triggering precise timing of the adaptive modulation of the plant's metabolism.